Hi, my name is Amit Gvaryahu. I teach here at the July Collegiate Program and at the Dr. Beth Samuels High School Program. This week in Parashat Shemini, I would like to share with you two insights of the British anthropologist Mary Douglas. The first is about the structure of Sefer Vayikra, the book of Leviticus. Mary Douglas, in her book Leviticus as Literature, notices that there are only two narratives, only two stories, in all of the book of Vayikra. In a very cunning move, she connects these two stories with the two dividers, the two parachot in the temple. There is one parochet, or in the Mishkan, there is one parochet that divides the outer perimeter of the Mishkan and the inner building of the Mishkan. And inside the Mishkan, or the temple, there is another parochet that divides the Kodesh, the holy place, from Kodesh HaKodashim, the Holy of Holies. Each story, says Mary Douglas, corresponds to a parochet in the temple. And here we are in Parashat Shemini on the cusp of the first parochet. Parashat Vayikra and Parashat Tzav are about what happens in the temple courtyard, in the outer altar, the sacrifices. But once we go into the Kodesh, we are exposed to a whole new set of laws. Ironically, not laws addressed to the priests anymore, but in fact laws addressed to each Israelite. For instance, the laws about food, or the laws about dress, or the laws about bodily fluids and sexual relations and commerce. More interestingly is the other parochet, the story of the blasphemer in Parshat Behar, which will lead us into laws about the land and inanimate things. Mary Douglas says that each set of laws corresponds to a different part of the temple. And so the laws about our bodies are the Kodesh, and the laws about the land are in fact Kodesh HaKodashim. This structural look at Sefer Vayikra and the laws of Vayikra can lead us to another insight, also by Mary Douglas, which is that the animals in Parashat Shemini that we are allowed to eat and the animals which we are not allowed to eat correspond to what the Israelite society looked like in the desert, or is envisioned to have looked like in the desert. Just like for the Israelites, some people were holier than others. There were priests, and then Levites, and then Israelites, and of course, outsiders, some of whom, like Amalek, were very, very outsiders. So too among the animals. Some animals may be sacrificed. Some animals may be eaten, but not sacrificed. Some animals may not be eaten. And other animals cause very, very harsh impurities, such as the crawling things. Mary Douglas claims in her first book about this, Purity and Danger, in which she compares Sefer Vayikra to other primitive societies around the world, which she observed herself in her work as an anthropologist, and says that the structure of society in Vayikra is mirrored in the animals that are legislated about in Parashat Shemini. In both cases, both observations by Mary Douglas show an interesting symmetry between the form of our laws and the form of our building, the structure of our Torah and the structure of our society. And in fact, Mary Douglas is probably onto some much greater idea, that the Torah is a blueprint for an ideal society, and that the society the Torah is trying to engineer, though it may not ever have existed, is a powerful model for the creation not only of a better self, but of a better group, a better collective, and ultimately a better world. Shabbat Shalom.